Your Ford sync system has 6 settings active right now that are quietly setting you up for a breakdown. Not a minor inconvenience. A full stranded on the side of the road and calling for a tow situation. I have been working on Fords for over 15 years, and the number of owners I have seen get burned by these exact settings is staggering. The worst part is, Ford enabled most of these by default, which means if you have never touched your sync settings, every single one of them is probably working against you right now. Setting number 4 has caused complete electrical failures in freezing temperatures, and most owners have no idea it is even running. Setting number 1 is so dangerous that I personally saw it strand 3 different customers in the same month. If you drive a Ford with Sync 3, Sync 4, or the newer Sync 4A system, pay close attention, because this could be the difference between making it home tonight and watching your battery die in an empty parking lot. Setting number 6, automatic software updates. Just because this is last on the list does not mean it is the least damaging. Ford's over-the-air update system downloads and installs software updates to your vehicle without requiring a dealership visit. In theory, that sounds great. Your system stays current and security patches get applied automatically. Here's what Ford does not advertise. When a sync update installs, it takes simultaneous control of multiple vehicle modules, including the gateway module, the body control module, and the sync module itself. During that installation window, which runs anywhere from 8 to 25 minutes, these modules are in a vulnerable state. If your battery voltage drops even slightly during this window, the update corrupts. A corrupted sync update does not just cause your touchscreen to glitch. It can brick your infotainment module, disable your backup camera, kill your climate control, and on 2020 and newer F-150s, interfere with door locking and remote start. Module replacement runs between $1,200 and $2,800, depending on trim level. The other problem is timing. Your truck does not ask when it is convenient to install. It does not care that your battery is slightly weak from cold weather or that you are running the heater and rear defroster at full load. It starts the update when it decides conditions are met. And if conditions change mid-install, you have a serious problem. Fix this by going into Sync Settings, selecting General, then About, then Sync Updates. Switch updates from automatic to manual. Updates will still download, but they will wait for your permission to install. You pick the timing, you control the risk. Setting number 5, Remote Start Climate Preconditioning. Ford added this with good intentions, but it creates a very specific stranding scenario in cold weather. When preconditioning is set to automatic, your Ford uses your driving history to predict when you are likely to leave, and it begins running systems to reach your desired cabin temperature before you even touch the fob. On standard gasoline models, this draws from the 12-volt battery and sometimes triggers a brief engine cycle to assist with heating. In moderate climates, this rarely causes problems, but in sustained cold below 20 degrees Fahrenheit, the system runs significantly longer and works significantly harder. The 12-volt battery takes a serious hit every single morning before you have even started the truck. Cold temperatures already reduce battery capacity by 20 to 50%, depending on battery age, and this system actively drains a battery that is already operating at reduced capacity in the most demanding conditions every morning. I have watched healthy batteries with less than 2 years of use fail entirely by late January on vehicles where preconditioning ran aggressively through December. The owner comes out during a cold snap and the truck will not start. Nothing else was wrong. The preconditioning system worked the battery to death. Go to Settings, then Climate, then Remote Start Climate Settings. Either turn preconditioning off entirely or switch it from automatic scheduling to manual activation only. That single change can add years to your battery life and eliminates the cold weather stranding risk completely. Setting number 4, Background Connected Services Data Transmission. Most owners have scrolled past this setting without understanding what it controls. Depending on your model year, it appears as Connected Services Data Transmission, Background Connectivity, or simply Sync Data Services. What it actually does is keep your sync system's cellular modem partially awake even when the vehicle is parked and turned off. Ford uses this for Ford Pass integration, remote vehicle status, stolen vehicle tracking, and diagnostic data collection. None of those functions require a constantly active connection. The modem wakes up at regular intervals to check for incoming Ford Pass commands, transmit diagnostic data, and maintain server connection handshakes. Each wake cycle draws current from your 12-volt battery. Individually, each draw is small, but the frequency of those cycles, stacked on top of normal parasitic drain from your truck's other systems, creates cumulative drain significant enough to cause no start conditions after 3 to 5 days of parking without driving. This mostly impacts seasonal drivers, people who travel for work and leave a vehicle parked, or anyone who parks a second truck even briefly. You come back after a long weekend and there is nothing. The battery is completely dead with no warning whatsoever. Go to Settings, then Connectivity, then Connected Services, and toggle background data transmission off. You will lose some real-time Ford Pass features, but your battery will hold its charge correctly during extended parking. If you rely heavily on Ford Pass, use a battery maintainer anytime the truck sits more than 72 hours instead of keeping this setting enabled. If this information is helping you protect your Ford, hit that like button right now and subscribe, because setting number 2 is the one most people argue with me about until they see the repair bill. Setting number 3, live traffic rerouting. This is useful when it works and actively dangerous when it doesn't. Live traffic rerouting pulls real-time data through your cellular connection and continuously recalculates your route around congestion. The problem is specifically what happens when cellular connectivity drops, which is exactly the kind of territory where you most need reliable navigation. When signal disappears, live traffic rerouting doesn't simply pause and fall back to local map data. On Sync 3 and early Sync 4 systems, it starts a continuous background process trying to re-establish the data connection and re-download traffic information. That background process consumes processing resources the navigation system needs to function. The display lags. Recalculation slows dramatically. In areas with intermittent signal, the system enters a loop of connecting, losing signal, and attempting to reconnect, which causes navigation to freeze, display incorrect position data, or in several documented cases in 2019 through 2022 model years, crash the navigation app entirely and force a full sync reboot. A reboot while you're actively navigating through an unfamiliar area means your screen goes dark for 2 to 4 minutes. If you're on a complex mountain route or moving through unfamiliar highway intersections, losing navigation for 4 minutes means missed turns and serious added time to your trip. The fix is straightforward. Go to Navigation, then Navigation Settings, then Route Preferences. Disable automatic rerouting with live traffic and switch to static map navigation. Your routes still calculate correctly using downloaded map data, which is comprehensive and accurate. You just won't get real-time overlays in areas where the cellular connection can't sustain them. Setting number 2, automatic emergency calling. Ford frames this as a pure safety feature, and in controlled conditions, it performs as advertised. The problem is the conditions under which it fails, and it fails in situations almost specifically designed to strand you. When this feature is active and your vehicle detects a collision, it automatically calls emergency services through Sync. Here is where it becomes a liability. The collision detection threshold is not limited to serious accidents. The same accelerometer data that triggers emergency calling can activate from severe potholes, aggressive off-road use, hard trailer hitch impacts during coupling, or low-speed parking lot contact that causes zero injury. When automatic emergency calling triggers incorrectly, it takes priority control of your cellular modem to place and maintain that call. While that call is active, your modem cannot perform any other function. Ford Pass goes offline. Navigation with live data stops. Remote start commands stop processing. In documented cases where a false trigger occurs while the vehicle is parked, Sync has drained the battery, maintaining an open emergency line for 15 to 30 minutes until the call is terminated by emergency services. Even worse, when a false trigger happens, in a remote area with poor signal. The system attempts to place the call, fails, and then continues attempting in the background while disabling other connectivity functions. Owners have returned to find their truck frozen trying to complete a failed emergency call, the battery partially drained, and a full sync reboot required before anything worked again. Go to Settings, General, Emergency Assistance. Disable fully automatic calling while keeping manual SOS active. You keep the ability to call for help yourself by pressing the SOS button. You just stop the system from triggering autonomously based on impact data it frequently misreads. Setting number 1 is the most common cause of stranding I see, and it has a name that makes it sound completely harmless. This is the battery saver mode override, buried deep enough in settings that most owners never find it, which means many drivers have no idea the single most important protection in their electrical system has been silently disabled. Every Ford with Sync 3 and Sync 4 has a battery saver mode that monitors the 12-volt battery voltage and cuts power to non-critical sync functions when voltage drops below the threshold that would risk a no-start condition. This is your last line of defense. When it is working, it catches the drain from every other setting before your battery reaches a critical level. The override disables that protection. It was originally added for deliberate use cases like running audio at a campsite or tailgate event without the system shutting down. The problem is that Ford Pass remote commands, dealer diagnostic software, and in documented cases over-the-air software updates can activate this override and leave it enabled without clearing it afterward. An owner who has never manually touched this setting can have battery saver protection silently disabled because a software update or Ford Pass session triggered the override and never reset it. With battery saver overridden, every other setting operates without the safety net that would normally intervene. The background connectivity drain runs unchecked. The preconditioning system runs unchecked. The emergency call attempts run unchecked. Your battery can die completely, sometimes overnight after an update, sometimes across 3 days of normal parking. It is unpredictable, which makes it the most dangerous of all. Navigate to Settings, then General, then Power Management, then Battery Saver. Confirm Battery Saver is enabled and Override Mode is off. If you find Override Mode active and you did not turn it on yourself, your protection has been compromised. Reset it immediately and monitor your battery voltage with a basic OBD2 reader for the following week. These 6 settings represent the gap between a Ford that runs reliably for 200,000 miles and one that leaves you stranded when you can least afford it. Ford builds excellent trucks, but the default sync configurations were designed to maximize feature visibility and connectivity metrics, not to protect your battery in every real-world operating condition. Take 20 minutes this weekend and go through each of these settings. You don't need a dealer, a scan tool, or any mechanical experience. It's all in your touchscreen. But the consequences of leaving these settings untouched can mean hundreds in battery replacements, thousands in module repairs, and a stranding experience that ruins a trip or makes you late somewhere. You absolutely cannot be late. Subscribe and hit the bell because we cover Ford reliability topics that dealers will not discuss with you. Drop a comment below and tell me which of these settings you found active on your truck, because I guarantee most of you are checking right now and finding exactly what I described. Share this with every Ford owner you know. I'll see you in the next one.